It's better than it was with Allie.
Who the hell is Mike Morris?
The former long snapper for the Minnesota Vikings.
He was on Power Trip, wasn't he?
Yeah, the Superstar Mike Morris.
No, I'm talking Half-Ass Morning Show on 93X.
Oh, I thought you said the Power Trip.
No. Hams.
Don't move past that spot.
All right.
You're a blowout boy. We don't need that.
I'm listening to, or I just always do it how I feel comfortable.
I know.
No, because, like, the Half-Ass Morning Show, they got rid of Weasel, and it sucked for a while.
Yeah,
What
they
about
got rid of
But
him.
Weasel also got fired for sexual harassment.
That's not great.
They got rid of him in the Clear Channel purge. That's the same time they got rid of Superstar Mike Morris. They got rid of him.
Remember when they used to have Chris Cluey?
Yep.
Is that his name?
Yeah, he would be
Chris
on
Warcraft?
Chris Warcraft. He would be on there all the time.
Dude, like, every morning I get in my car and I start it up, and it's like, okay, I listen to Barrero on the way home. And
He's too grumpy. I don't like him. He's way too grumpy.
He's grumpy, but I don't mind his takes and everything. But no, it's like the Power Trip is on when I start my car up, and it's 30 seconds of that, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys rely on fucking dick jokes. That's it.
And they...
Like, that's all it is like, dude, this chick is so hot, I have such a boner.
Who's the old one who's always like, oh, all these chicks want to do me? He's in the morning show. He
Chris
sounds
Hockey?
really old. No, on 93X.
Oh, Nick?
Maybe.
Yeah, no, he's the oldest one on
He sounds like Tom Bernard, kind of.
Yeah, no, that's Nick.
Okay, alright.
Listen, I mean, half of his stories, I'm sure, are made up, but you know what? He's entertaining.
That's all that matters.
I do have something I have two things I would like to talk about.
Can you do me a favor
Yes.
and talk about those two things while I add sugar to my coffee?
I can.
Thank you.
So, have either of you gentlemen seen the movie Killing of a Sacred Deer?
I have.
No,
You
haven't
have.
even heard of it.
Okay, Adam. Do you
Isn't
like...
that what your guys' Between the Bumbles was about
Yeah,
this week?
because I literally had just watched that, then edited the show, and I was like, well, this fits, whatever.
You rewatched it, or was that
The first time I've ever watched
it? Oh, wow. So Brad was way ahead of the curve on you on that one.
He's seen that before?
Brad saw it, like, when it came out. He rented it on Google.
Really?
Like, while it was still in theater, yeah.
Okay, did you like it? Okay, so there's two scenes I want to talk about, not spoilers at all. So first off, I don't understand why they all act like, and this might be offensive, they're on the spectrum.
Okay.
Did you notice that?
I did.
Every single, and I know they're not bad actors because Nicole Kidman is not a bad actor or actress.
Actor.
Oh yeah, actor. And I don't think Colin Farrell's a bad actor either.
No.
But they all are like just like robots, basically. Anyway, so the first part where they're having sex and he's like, is this general anesthesia? And she just like lays on the bed and then he's like, because they're doctors, right?
Right.
That is so creepy,
Yeah,
right?
It's not fantastic.
Like, I mean, I guess if that's your kink, but it's like, I feel like a doctor, if he's doing that with his wife, then with the patients, you can't trust that, right?
Man, it seems inhuman.
Yeah.
Like, it really seems like none of those people are real.
And then the scene I want to talk about that reminds me of Jordan and his dad.
Oh, God.
Is where he's talking to his son. He's like, let me tell you a secret, son. The first time I jerked off, not much cum came out,
Right.
so I was a little worried. So I snuck into my dad's bedroom and I started masturbating him while I was sleeping, and he
Right.
shot cum everywhere, and I got scared and I ran. I'm like, did you just admit to jerking your dad off while he was sleeping?
Brad brought up similar concerns during that part, yeah.
What the hell?
I'm not exactly sure. That movie, I don't know, man. But I'm going to go see The Hunt tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know what? I liked that part until they said white people are crazy.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I was like, okay.
No, we are,
term-
though.
I know that, but it's like, I feel like it's just overplayed a little bit at this point.
Like,
Just-
Adam,
Peel already made two goddamn
Yeah.
movies about it, so let's
Yeah.
just chill for a little bit.
But it's just like some old white guy's like, man, you white people are crazy. Okay. It does have girl or Boys Don't Cry girl. I can't think of her name. She's really big actress back in like the early 2000s.
Queen Latifah.
You know what movie I'm talking about?
No
Boys
idea.
Don't Cry.
No, I don't.
No.
And she was, I think she was in one of the Clint Eastwood movies. She was the girl in the female boxer.
Oh,
The hell's her name?
$1 Million Baby.
Yeah, I can't think of her name.
Is she
Great actress.
Is she ugly or is she not ugly? That was the whole Office episode was about it. Hilary Swank.
Yeah, Hilary Swank. Yeah, she's in that movie.
Okay.
So it could be good.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm going to go give it a shot. The last movie I saw was the Impractical Jokesters movie, and that was great. That was real good.
In theaters?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Last week I went. It was fantastic.
I didn't even know they had one.
Yeah. The last movie I saw in theaters was Frozen 2.
Yikes.
Dude,
You know-
it was fucking great.
I don't know.
I remember I watched this movie literally called Frozen, right?
Yeah.
But it's the horror movie one about the ski lift. Have you ever
No.
heard of that one? It's actually not bad. And I remember I was going to post to my Instagram. I was like, I don't know why parents are letting their kids watch this. A man gets eaten alive by wolves. I don't know if this is kid friendly.
Last night I watched a horror film on
Okay.
Comcast or Xfinity, whatever it is. I can't remember what the hell the movie was called. It had 83% Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
And I had never heard of it. It was about like prairie demons. This lady.
Prairie demon.
Yeah, these people are like homesteaders, and they move out to like Kansas, something. I can't remember where they are. And then there's like demons,
Huh.
and they fuck with you.
What do you know? What channel it played off of?
No, but it was free to me on Netflix, so I'm thinking HBO or Showtime. It was Showtime.
Oh, okay.
Showtime.
Okay, I don't have Showtime, but
I'll
wonder
remember.
what that is. You should
Well,
let me
Between the Bumbles, we'll look it up.
Okay,
I'll look it up.
Was it good? Would you recommend it?
Nah, it was contrived. It was trying too hard. It was really trying too hard.
You know-
It's not as good as, like, Lord of the G-Strings.
You know, Lord of the G-Strings is the whole G-Strings series is.
That sounds like an adult film, Jordan.
It is Cinemax softcore porn.
Skinamax.
Listen,
okay.
I was, like, fresh out of high school when that one came out.
You seem like a Red Shoes Diaries boy.
What the fuck is that?
Don't
How do you not
even
know?
act like you don't know what that is.
Everyone knows Red Shoes Diary.
It had David Duchovny in it.
Mhm.
It had Craig, I can't think of his name, James Bond.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. It's a softcore porn show, and both of them two were in them.
If he was Japanese, he would be Craig Danielson. but since we're in America, he's Daniel Craig.
You know what's funny? I was actually thinking about this. I think in horror movies, like as far as countries go, it's probably America, Japan,
Korea.
Italy. I put Italy above Korea.
But I like the floating stuff. That only happens in Korean films.
Korean films are good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming they're only coming from South.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
We're not getting shit from North.
Are you telling me you wouldn't watch
Yeah,
a
I would.
North Korean film? I'd watch it
I would.
instantly.
Especially with those. I would listen to a whole podcast about these 4 American G.I. Joes. Well, they were there for the Korean War.
Yeah.
And then they defected and became like the biggest movie stars of North Korea of all time.
Really?
Yeah. And then 2 of them, they all ended up hating each other for being like in Korean Hollywood. And then 2 of them defected away. And then 2 of them are married and in like high standing with the Korean government.
I
North Korean
suppose
government.
if you're in high standing in North Korea, your life's great. But
Like Dennis
anybody
Rodman.
That
else,
means you actually get to eat.
yeah, everybody else not so great.
True. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Bumblebutt Podcast, the only podcast on the internet that uploads weekly. Who knows what it'll be about? This week it's me again, and next week it'll be me again. Sorry, Jordan, you've been rescheduled.
What?
That's
Yep.
right. I'm sorry. This is a 2-parter. I thought I was going to be able to get it out
Man.
in one. Who knows? Certainly not me. My name's Adam. Sitting across me this week is the person who I've revoked, and that is Jordan. Hello, Jordan.
Hi, Adam.
I heard you got a package today.
I did. It was a lot of baby clothes,
That's right.
but
It's Mandy Ward.
Our very good
She-
fan, Mandy Ward.
Not only is she our highest donating patron, she also gifted us beautiful things, Amazon
Yeah.
gift card, and a shitload of stuff for Jordan's baby.
a
yes.
bunch of cute little fox clothes for
yeah.
little baby fox.
So, yeah,
And a wonderful letter.
don't
That's,
mind his ignorance. He loves the clothing.
I do. It is much appreciated. I mean,
Right now,
we're finally like coming to the stretch where it's like, oh, this is how much everything is going to cost. So like that, it was a lot of stuff, and
It was.
It's very, very much appreciated.
It's funny, the little bow tie and suspenders. I could have swore.
Oh my god!
When I first looked at it, I was like, is Jordan gonna wear? I thought it was a joke that Jordan was gonna wear a bow tie and suspenders. Then I'm like, okay, this is a little too small for him. So.
And then you're like, oh yeah, the rest of this is baby stuff, so this might be for the baby.
Oh yeah, Jordan's having a kid.
No, it was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mandy.
Yes.
She said she was really happy about her shirt.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to be really happy with their shirts.
I
so.
still haven't gotten mine.
Well, you're a low priority.
Yeah,
that's very
You're
true.
bottom tier.
That's very true.
Let me see here. We will make a post very soon about our remaining stock, and we're going to do a reorder, I think, pretty soon.
Yep.
So that's going to be fucking great.
Yep.
That's going to be great. And then there'll be mass available for the public,
Everybody.
everybody, and anybody. That's anybody.
Yep, we'll make it really easy. Basically, I'll make a post about it. It's going to be PayPal, where I created an entire new tier on Patreon. You can donate to that, and we'll send you a shirt.
Listen to this kid. All right.
I'm
Good
already
job.
out of it.
Cody
I'm
on
already
top
out
of shit.
On top of the game. Also sitting across from me is the man on top of the game, and that is Cody.
Hello.
Hey, bud.
How's it going?
How was your week?
It was weak.
You got through it?
It wasn't quite as bad because it wasn't quite as busy at work, except for today.
Today was busy?
Brad might have gotten coronavirus and he didn't come in. Yeah, it's starting to turn in. Did you watch the YouTube video that our job sent out regarding the coronavirus?
Oh, on text?
Jesus.
Yeah.
I blocked him a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, they have a YouTube video of a lady basically reading a script, and she makes 0 sense. It's basically like, I'm not going to say anything, you're going to get a letter about the procedures to do.
Oh.
It's just like, why did you even talk about any of this?
This was
then?
like this was a stopgap video until the official literature came out.
Like, it made 0 sense.
Yeah, did you read the packet, the coronavirus packet?
I don't think I got it yet.
It was in the command center, the little where Andrew and Big Eej sit.
Yeah, I don't congregate over there.
Yeah, and I was also involved in a screaming match involving
I heard.
our good old man.
You need to just challenge him to like an arm wrestling match or a duel.
Wait, what's
Get it
happening
over.
now?
I'll talk about it off the broadcast. All right, that's gonna do it. We got to get into it. We got
Let's
a
do
long
it.
one.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna
Jesus.
be the beginning of a 2-parter, my boys.
Hell
all right.
yeah.
All right.
Now, you may have heard of these people. You may not have. I don't care. This is the Anthill Kids.
I'm quite familiar with them.
Never
I'm
heard.
guessing Jordan is not.
No, I'm
Not at all? Well, Jordan, you and the rest of our fans can get familiarized at the same time.
Ooh, wonderful.
I'm not gonna say
We'll be in shock and awe.
I'm not gonna say anything, but I've been thinking about this. Jordan, in your head, envision a man a Canadian man who was probably a dishonorably discharged Canadian Marine, if they even have that, and now he sits at home on YouTube talking about libtards. That's what this man looks like to me.
Yes.
So it's an older man who makes maple syrup moonshine.
And he's got a big old Moses beard.
I don't
Alright.
think he's smart enough to
Let's
make maple syrup
fucking
moonshine.
go.
He's creepy, I'll tell you that.
Roch Theriault is the subject this week, a Canadian cult leader who led the small religious group known as the Anthill Kids from 1977 to 1989. Theriault claimed he was a prophet named Moses and founded a doomsday cult based in Seventh-day Adventist beliefs. Before all was said and done, Theriault would end up with 26 children, a pile of dead bodies, and enough physical and sexual abuse to last 1,000 lifetimes.
Yeah, he's fucked. He's very fucked.
Roch Theriault was born in 1947 as the second of 9 children and the oldest boy to Hyacinth and Pierrette Theriault in a small town. Hyacinth? I don't know.
I like it. I'm digging it.
Here's my wife, Hyacinth.
Nope,
and then
that's the
over...
husband.
What?
Hyacinth is the husband, Pierrette is the wife.
Here's my husband, Hyacinth, and my uncle, Tulip. I'm sorry, okay, continue.
They were brought up in a small town called Thetford Mines. From an early age, he was considered bright, outgoing, and seen to enjoy learning.
Yeah, with a name like Hyacinth, you're gonna be fucking outgoing.
Well, this is our boy Roch again.
But I mean,
I don't care.
Even his name is unique.
Definitely.
Yeah.
7th grade was as far as he or any of the Theriault kids would go, which is fortunate because that's as high as the local school went.
Really? In Canada?
Just in this little Thetford Mines part.
I was just thinking, would you actually want to live in a town that has where you're going to be enslaved to work at in the title?
No,
I don't want to.
I don't want to move to Walmartburg or anything like that.
It's guaranteed employment.
It
You want
is.
a masonry mine in fucking Wisconsin. I don't think you
Masonville.
Masonville.
Ugh. Roch would later describe his parents, particularly his father, as abusive. Hyacinth, on the other hand, denies any more than spankings, and family friends, along with classmates of Roch, agree that abuse never happened. Hyacinth was a career laborer and devoutly religious, as in joining a special fascist offshoot of the Catholics called the White Berets devout.
Wow.
Roch was forced to go along on missions, passing out literature door to door like several other religions do. Because of this, he developed a biting hatred for organized religion, specifically the Catholics.
It's kind of ironic what he's about to do. So, I was like, do you think Catholics would attach themselves to fascists?
This was...
Or is it just like
well, this was... Since it was 47 when Roch was born, it was around the time of the war, when Hitler was the hero of all. So this little group, these White Berets, they were super into religion and super into man above woman and all that. You know, all the Maxo stuff.
There is a big belief that the Vatican was giving Germany money during World War II.
I think that's proven, isn't it?
I feel like they lost the records.
Right.
They lost the records.
Hey, we lost the Epstein footage too.
Because believe it or not, old school Catholics don't like Jews very much.
No,
so.
Gosh, no. They went on a few of those crusades over it. Speaking of records, as far as any are concerned, Roch didn't have shit to complain about. He just had to spend religious time with his weird dad. As Theriault aged, it came to him he could garner sympathy if he complained about his family, and the fact that he was a true blue nerd made him seem broodingly intelligent. And when I say nerd, I mean it. He wasn't overall intelligent, he just had very impressive knowledge of very specific subjects. And like all nerds, he began to crave attention.
How do you be a nerd in 1940s or 50s?
Well, you put on your little Melvin glasses, you put a bicycle card in your spokes, and you rev around town.
It's funny, the 50s nerd is what we call today as probably like a inner city hipster.
True, man.
See?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's all about the time period.
That's all. And probably these hipsters have better social graces than
the
nerds. Yeah.
Do you know? I mean, was he always kind of a thicker boy? Do you know?
He was always bigger.
Bigger.
Yeah, a big Canadian wilderness kid. You know? Roch had a penchant for showmanship. Add in his impressive frame, beard, and a splash of religion, he would be able to lap up all the attention his greedy little tummy could take. November 11th, 1967. Here comes the bride. He marries Francine Grenier, a girl from the next town over. The couple moved to Montreal. And over the next 3 years, she would bear him 2 sons, Roch Jr. and Francis.
2 sons, we've got 24 more to go.
24, 2 down, 24 to go. Theriault developed some serious ulcers in this 3-year window, which had to be surgically removed. Complications from the surgery caused lifelong persistent discomfort in the digestive tract and furthered his irritability.
You know what? I've wondered sometimes if I have ulcers. I don't know if you have as well, but I don't want them.
When my goddamn reflux is kicking, that's when I wonder if I'm... But then I'm like, oh yeah, I ate a gallon of spaghetti.
Well, whenever I eat really like greasy meats, it's just like...
The
salami, pepperoni,
pork.
It flares up.
I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that.
I don't know how. You've been, usually drinking amplifies all of that, and
definitely.
You're over...
And smoking.
Dude, I drink, I smoke, I eat like shit.
Maybe you're just a Maybe you're the Highlander.
He's a German.
You got to cut his head off.
I'm a god amongst men.
Are you Connor McLeod? Was that his name? Kevin McLeod.
Yeah, no, he'd be the other guy. What's the bad guy's name?
I can't remember.
He has a sweet last name.
Yeah, he does.
Remember it. He's an ugly son of a bitch.
Yes, he
whoever
is.
the actor is.
Well, then it fits.
No, you're a beautiful boy.
No.
This event would spur on a never-ending obsession with anatomy and medicine, the surgery, that is. He moved his family back to Thetford Mines and started his new career as an amateur woodworker and local municipal politician. He also
I built you a coffee table. The legs are 2x4s and plywood on top, but hey, I'm an amateur.
Yeah, one day I'll be able to saw it or something. He also joined the French version of the Shriners called Le Club Armé, and he used the club as his personal pulpit to start forming his parody of Catholicism right under the Catholic noses of all the other members.
Wow. I knew this story had something to do with French Canadians.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you're starting it right now.
This is a French-Canadian field day.
Is Montreal...
French Canada, yes.
Is it?
It's
Okay.
called Montreal.
Okay.
Montreal.
Like their hockey team is the Canadiens.
I thought it was like mainly Quebec, and they're like stuck there.
I
they
mean,
don't let them go out of that.
It's a lot of Canada is French Canada.
Okay.
A lot of fur trappers up there. He would also acquire a new interest in sex and sexuality, which pleased neither his wife nor his in-laws. Roch Theriault took to the bottle hard. He was using his amateur wood sculpting sales as an excuse to leave Thetford Mines for the exotic Quebec City every weekend. Here he would fuck anyone and everyone that he met.
Jesus.
Giselle, who will become important momentarily,
Tom
was
Brady's
one of these
wife?
I was going to say Giselle Bündchen.
the New England Patriots witch. That's what I call her.
What?
Listen, she's about to beat the Las Vegas Raiders, which...
Is Brady going to Vegas?
No, he's
That's
not leaving. Leaving.
He is leaving.
Well, who knows?
Sure.
Maybe sports will be canceled forever anyway.
You know what? I was seeing the thing that a lot of teams, they aren't even allowing their scouts to go anywhere, so.
Man, listen, that makes me sad, but that seems like a Between the Bumbles topic.
It does.
Wow, nice.
He's all business today, apparently.
Let's get this shit going.
Obviously, Theriault's finances fell right through the floor, and the local credit union repossessed everything they could get their hands on. Thankfully, this is when his poor wife Francine washed her hands of him, and he would take up with Giselle full-time.
Okay, well, Giselle's a little bit of a sexier name,
Then Francine, yeah.
I didn't even think they had credit unions back then.
I feel like
figured
that
it's
might
just
have been
greedy
all they
banks.
had. Not like big
Yeah.
banks, like local kind of deal.
Citibank's not opening up a location in Thetford Mines, Canada.
They don't have Wells Fargo there telling people to open up accounts for their animals.
I don't think so. Although Roch and Janelle were intimate on a more than regular basis, to keep up appearances, Theriault made a bed in the back of his truck to make sure everyone knew his scruples forbade him from sleeping with a woman when he wasn't married.
Okay, alright.
The time was right for Roch Theriault to fall head over heels with the Seventh-day Adventist Church. The Adventists that he fell in love with were a small congregation led by a Guadalupean minister named Pierre Zita in a motel room every Saturday.
Hey, I'd go to church in a hotel room right now.
So
I'll
it's
tell
like-
you that much.
It's like four people just sitting cross-legged on the bed like, what can you tell us, Pierre?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you remember, but
Grab
Seventh-day...
communion from the minibar.
Oh, I'm doing Smirnoff communion today.
Remind me when you get to Bumbles, I have a story about a guy buying vodka today when I was at the liquor store. Anyway,
Was he an Adventist?
he bought a box of 120 single shots.
Whoa.
And from what I was gathering, because he was arguing with the cashier, that the old owner or guy used to give him a discount.
Sure, bulk
on
pricing.
Yeah,
and the new guy wouldn't do it, and he was really mad. And
He was trying to charge him full crate?
Yeah.
No, you give that man bulk pricing. Come on
I mean,
now.
those are the power pellets he needs to get through his day.
My favorite part was he took the big box of single shots, handed it to his wife in a Honda Odyssey, and then they drove off.
Did he have to pay full price?
Yeah, which
Oh
it was
my
like
God.
$10 more.
But still, man, I mean, if you're taking out that kind of inventory gives someone a fucking deal.
At that point, the shop is just the pickup point between him and the distributor.
That's
you know
exactly
Here's what I'm
is.
wondering. Why don't you just buy 2 bottles of vodka for $80?
Because the power pellets, you can have like 15 of them all over you. And
Okay, yeah, I suppose.
you got to have the brain of a booze hound, an alcoholic, in order for any of this to make sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, the whole point was Seventh-day Adventist is where, like, David Koresh came from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I thought. I feel like there's a few cults that have been spawned off of this particular sect.
Quickly, Roch became their most devout follower. He began following Adventist nutritional strictness, and he also quit drinking, which was a huge feat for him. His enthusiasm for spreading God's word began to unsettle the rest of the congregation, and his boastfulness irritated other members, especially the ones that knew he had a 7th grade education.
What's wrong with that? I learned about dinosaurs finally in 7th grade.
He knows multiplication.
Because that's when Jurassic Park came out.
No, that's my first year in a public school.
Wow.
In 7th grade,
God.
so I learned about penises, vaginas, and dinosaurs.
Now that's an info dump.
Yeah.
That's why you ended up the way you are
I
today.
mean, had you stayed in Catholic school, all you would have learned about was young boys' buttholes.
Yeah, you could have explored some caves.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like Phil and I have talked about this, but we didn't know it at the time, but apparently one of the priests that I knew
And
was
trusted.
molesting a kid.
Yeah, that's the way it works. The ones you know and trust are the ones that diddle.
He ended up killing himself, so...
The priest?
The priest, yeah.
okay.
Good riddance.
Roch became deeply interested in the Old Testament. He really enjoyed the strict codes of masculine authority, and he became obsessed with the apocalypse, with its message of violent retribution for sin in the end times. Like his father in the White Berets, Theriault was incredibly gifted at selling the Adventist literature door to door. He did so well in this assignment, he was promoted by Minister Pierre Zita. Now Roch was running the Quit Smoking workshops, which were a way to recruit members to Adventist evangelism. This way, if they were successful in quitting smoking, they could give the glory to God for giving them the strength to quit smoking.
Okay.
And that would make them keep coming to Adventist
Here's
church.
the ironic thing, like, okay, what year is this, about late 60s?
Yep, 67, 68.
So, you were considered a piece of shit if you didn't smoke. So he's, like, everybody smoked then.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't have, like, the whole lung cancer and emphysema.
That wasn't
thing.
invented yet.
But he's
The
ahead of the
liberals didn't
time,
invent
man.
No. That's my favorite thing. Oh, that shit's all made up.
Yeah.
Lung cancer doesn't actually exist.
Instead of a candy bar for when you're pregnant, reach for a Lucky Strike.
Make sure to
Ugh.
stick the baby
9
in the
out of
microwave while you're cooking it there.
9 out of 10 doctors recommend the smooth taste of camel.
Ugh.
It was probably only a couple months ago. I was just going through old cigarette ads, like looking at them and how ridiculous they are.
Did you watch?
They're
Oh my
badass.
god!
Did
dude.
you watch any of the Flintstones cartoons?
No, I didn't. It was just a bunch of pictures, and
There's whole Flintstones cartoons about how you need to smoke Winstons.
Really?
Yes.
Fred was
Yes.
a Winston boy.
Oh, he's a Winston man. He says it himself.
Winstons aren't that good.
hey man, like 2 weeks of my senior year in high school, I smoked Winston's.
Attaboy.
They're
The S2s, the bright silver packs.
just get Marlboros.
Yep. Just go for the
Same price at this.
go for the red apple.
Newport Reds, baby.
Ugh.
Theriault absolutely excelled at this position as well. And by 1977, Theriault had amassed quite a following within his little sect. They included Solange Bayard, 21, Chantal Labrie, 19, Francine Laflamme, 18, Nicole Ruel, 20, a woman named Marise, 18. She was considered an outsider.
Okay.
Jose Peltier, 20, Jacques Fissette, 20-ish, Claude Ouellette, 24, and Jacques Guiger, 24, his wife Maurice, and their 6-month-old baby girl.
Is Jose a traditional French name?
I don't know
It
if
is. It really is.
it might
Are
be
you sure?
Josea. Jose.
Josie.
Yeah, you
Josie.
remember Josea from Red Dead 2? Oh, he was Hosea, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was Hosea. But that was like with the Hosea
Hey.
or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, who knows? Names are dumb.
You know what I always remember from Red Dead 2?
Sure.
You can't trust Trelawney.
Can't trust Trelawney.
Trelawney, you can't
Trelawney
trust him.
runs at the first sniff of trouble.
Yeah, no, Trelawney. I don't know why I always remember that part.
Because you can't trust him.
I guess he's a magician or something, isn't he?
He's like a con man, like a fast talker.
That's my boy.
This motley crew began hanging out at his lover Giselle's apartment. Although most of the girls in the group still live with their parents, the whole group would spend their weekends and free time crashing at Giselle's. On the couch, on the floor, wherever there was space.
Sounds like a bunch of hippies.
Yeah.
Did Giselle just have all the coke?
Yeah, I think they were in. I think they like the hippie spinach too, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, jazz cabbage.
Theriault began convincing them all to drop out of college. After all, Christ was coming to cleanse the earth, and there was no point in learning skills for a world that's already doomed.
That's a valid point.
Giselle became jealous of the attention Roch would receive from the other girls in the congregation. But as Theriault had ambitions of becoming a priest and had committed to total sobriety, she came to regard this as absurd. She didn't have to worry about it.
What is it that attracts people about religious leaders?
Is it power? Is it Is it the knowing more? Is it the knowledge? I don't know.
I think it's you have to be very charismatic to do
Yeah.
it, and that draws people in. Like, oh, look at how confident they are in what they're saying, and just like their aura, I guess.
It's a good
Okay.
look.
It's comforting.
Okay, Jordan, how long would it take you to touch yourself to a picture of Marshall Applewhite?
Who the fuck is Marshall Applewhite?
the cult leader of Heaven's Gate.
He's on my background.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, on that,
Is his charisma going to get you off?
We're gonna have to go to decimal points.
He looks like a little turtle.
But I'm just saying, like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but if you look at a picture of this man, he's hideous.
He's gross.
Well, yeah,
Sorry,
no, they're not
he's-
good-looking people. But
Neither
they,
was
all-
they
Manson.
have a way of speaking.
So it's all about how they can talk to you, how they can convince you.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
And they can make you think everything's your idea and stuff like that.
I can understand if it's like a celebrity, Tom Brady or Joe Namath or something like. They're
Even Jim Jones was kind of hot.
He was actually.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you're attractive, you don't need charisma. But if you're not, you need
That's true.
a lot of charisma.
If you're an ugly fuck, you gotta make people laugh.
So clearly,
exactly.
Jordan has the most charisma of all of us here, right?
I think he's the highest
Yeah,
in charisma
I
points.
think so too.
Well, that's shocking.
Well,
I'm
You're
ugly.
married-
I'm
you're ma-
ugly, and I'm not charming.
but you just said you can have that and still have charisma to cover up all
Yeah,
that.
I don't have charisma.
I disagree.
You are married with a child on the way,
That takes charisma.
and I think you got it. I think you nailed it.
The remaining members of the motel meeting congregation, as well as Adventist ministers even higher up on the chain, became increasingly fearful that the group was more attracted to Roch's personality than they were to the church. Deep in the woods of Muskoka, Ontario, Theriault and his followers attended an Adventist retreat. Here he added 2 new names to his following, Gabrielle Lavallee and Yolande Guinebert. Roch was so impressed with the scenery of the place, it gave him his first vision.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
that's how you take it to another level.
You got it.
Add
Now,
the
by-
visions, baby.
Listen, nature gave me my first vision, not the LSD I just took.
He smoked a marijuana cigarette. Now he's got the answers.
Reefer madness. It needs to be put to a stop, people. It's a gateway drug.
The sky lit with a white radiance. The voice of God told him the outcropping on which he was about to kneel was to become a holy place. With an entourage of 8 live-in followers and a growing reputation as a healer, Theriault decided it was time to move his little family from Thetford Mines over to Sainte Marie, 60 miles south of Quebec City, and open up the Healthy Living Clinic, an alternative medicine store where you can get organic foods and holistic literature to cure any ailment. Cash up front, of course.
You know what I was thinking? Like, if this man was just in L.A. County right now in California,
Yeah.
he'd be a billionaire.
Or Austin,
because-
Texas.
Or
Yeah.
Austin,
Yeah.
too. Anywhere hipster-like, open this shop, you'll have so much goddamn money.
Won't even have to do the bad
No.
stuff he's going to do later.
Oh, he does very bad stuff.
He
But-
thinks he can it's not in this episode, but he thinks he can resurrect someone at some point.
Oh, shit.
He's got a strange way of doing it.
That reminds me. David Koresh tried that too.
Same way?
Remember, he had the resurrection off with the other guy
Right,
for supremacy of the church. Two necromancers battling.
God. Nerds, man.
Yeah.
Roch insisted they all wear a uniform, an ankle-length pullover tunic, green for women and beige for men. Roch would be wearing a dark brown robe of similar length.
I don't get it. Is that, like, this is a cult thing, obviously, but
Robes?
it seems so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Is
like
it
smocks and
uncomfortable?
robes. I have to imagine.
Like,
They all seem like rough
I don't
spun.
know, man. It seems like it would be flowy around your legs and your crotch
Okay,
region, so that
imagine-
might be nice.
Imagine you are the grandpa in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Right.
They didn't seem real happy with their gowns on.
They seem full of
Well,
bed sores.
they were bedridden.
Yeah.
Except Uncle Joe, who's a lion sack of shit.
Yeah.
I haven't moved for 25 years. Oh, fucking, let's go on an adventure, Charlie.
Here I go.
I think they needed a social worker to check on him because he
They
was
definitely did.
clearly lying.
Listen, man, I think he just needed to have his kneecaps broken to be like, you lied about it for how long? All right, now you're actually going to fucking be in here.
To be real, I don't think they were on social assistance. They were drinking like gray water soup for dinner. So
That's true.
Unless one of them had a cocaine and
You
problem.
know what? That's karma for Uncle Joe lying about not being able to walk.
Mhm.
Yeah, he just, I said, ultimately, that's the life I want to live. It's just
Bedridden.
sitting in bed and watching TV. That's
True.
my ultimate goal in life.
With two other old people.
Yes.
Granddaughter, pop my ass sore.
If, like, either one of you, we can just sit in the bed and just enjoy life, you know, just
I'll do
wait
it.
to die.
Yeah.
It's a better version of hospice care.
It'll be me and Amy on one side and you and Adam on the other.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now we're talking. Theriault is making money hand over fist and also attracting followers. Several of the clinic's patients volunteered time and money back into the clinic. Leo Mark Faucher sold all of his worldly possessions in order to fund the clinic and moved in with his wife and the child to the commune. The group began to take on a strange dynamic, with all of the females competing for Roch's attention. As time went on, Giselle wanted more than anything to lock down Roch and make sure he didn't fall for any of the other women's guiles, so she proposed to him herself.
Wow. Okay.
A week later, he agreed, and the two were married on January 8th, 1978, at an Adventist church in Montreal. There was no honeymoon, and the group piled directly back into the van for the 5-hour ride back to Sainte Marie. Theriault spent the entire trip joking and flirting with all the other girls in the van, while Giselle cried on a mattress in the back, letting it sink in more and more that the only reason he agreed to marry her was to cement his relationship with the Adventists in an official, sincere-looking marriage.
Bumblebutt advice number 1: never marry a cult leader.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, no.
Don't care. Just
And
because
if you're getting culty vibes, don't
Yeah.
marry them either.
maybe like an acolyte or something, but
Sure.
definitely not the leader, because the leader is going to, male or female, they're getting it from every angle.
And he didn't have 26 kids by not getting it.
No.
You know?
No, they weren't delivered by storks here.
The gambit didn't pay off. The Adventists were unconvinced. Pierre Zita did his best to approach the parents of the girls who were falling for Roch, and approach Giselle directly, trying to convince her to leave Roch and run. But all of the girls refused to speak to him or the police. Theriault was their face to the outside world, and even when local business owners began filing complaints against Theriault and the Healthy Living Clinic for their inability to pay, since they were a religious group, the police's hands were tied.
So what are they actually doing at this clinic, or is it just a front?
Let's find out
basically?
right now.
Hell yes.
Oh, shit.
March 1978. Leukemia patient Geraldine Auclair was admitted to the Healthy Living Clinic. In Quebec City, she had been undergoing treatment in a real hospital, and things seemed to be going well. Then Mr. Auclair fell for Roch's charms and allowed Roch to visit Geraldine in the hospital. Roch got in a large screaming match with the doctors over the matter of Geraldine's treatment, specifically about the number of drugs they were giving her. Roch convinced Mr. Auclair to check the 38-year-old cancer patient into the Healthy Living Clinic, where even her own father was no longer allowed to visit. Roch Theriault's patented cancer treatment included grape juice and whole organic foods. Geraldine Auclair died in the clinic. Theriault told his fathers that he had gone into her room, kissed her, She had awakened from death, but in the end...
You know when God wants people, he takes them. It was Geraldine's time.
Great cancer treatment. Really fucking stellar.
This is the Steve Jobs cancer treatment.
Yeah,
right here.
rub an apple on it. You'll be fine. Moving directly along, 1 month later, in April of 1978, Theriault was voted out of the Seventh-day Adventist Church on Pierre Zita's initiative.
Ooh.
This didn't faze Roch one little bit, and his next step was to marry some of his followers together, despite the fact that he had no legal or religious authority to do so. Not to mention, none of these women expressed any interest in marrying the men he picked.
This is very culty.
I was going to say.
Very culty.
Later on in the month, Giselle, very pregnant and feeling very neglected by Roch, decided to give her husband an ultimatum. Either break up the commune and force his followers to find new homes, or she would move back in with her father. Theriault's answer was to smash her in the mouth and forbid her to leave her room for 2 days.
Ooh.
And forbid her to leave her room for 2 days.
That escalated very fast.
It went a little far.
Yeah, just a little bit.
When Roch got excommunicated, the healthy living clinics started facing serious problems. First of all were those outstanding debts. Secondly, constant police surveillance since they killed poor Geraldine Auclair. And third, the cutting off of health food and missionary literature supplies from their former friends, the Seventh-day Adventists.
So the police were actually kind of paying attention.
Finally. It took an outsider to go die there in order.
I feel like in America they still wouldn't be concerned yet.
Yeah.
One murder,
Yes.
they're not quite there yet.
We can't go in yet.
We gotta wait for a few more bodies to pile up.
We can't be sure. Theriault decided it was time to get the hell out of town. Theriault told the group that the world would end on February 17th, 1979, amid a storm of boulder-sized hail, earthquakes, and lightning. The commune would become God's chosen, but only if they made a righteous life for themselves in the scrub of these Appalachian foothills. Theriault, of course, would be their guide.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the year that the Dolphins went undefeated?
Did they go undefeated in 79?
I don't. It might have been 78 or 79. Maybe
so,
it was 82. I don't know.
If so, it was all thanks to Roch Theriault.
Thank you, Don Shula.
July 9th, 1978, the group set out on foot to the hills by way of the village of St. Jogue. They hiked for 2 days until they found an isolated hill beside a small body of water called Dry Lake. Theriault named the tiny hill Eternal Mountain, and it was here that they made their home.
So they have literally a lake called Dry Lake.
Dry Lake, yeah.
That can't be dry because there's water in it.
Sometimes.
Oh,
It dries
sometimes.
out.
Okay.
Listen, we cast our lines into the sand and we don't catch nothing. Thought there'd be some bass over there.
The group erected a temporary tent city while they began construction on a large communal cabin. They worked at least 17 hours a day, clearing the land. Jacques Facette and Claude hacked at the ground with a shovel and pickaxe for the entire summer to build a well. And when they finally reached the water table, instead of giving the credit where it was due, Theriault declared it a miracle.
I mean, technically it kind of was.
They have fresh, clean water now, so that's a miracle.
A lot of this is kind of like, did this guy hear about Jonestown's like, hey, I should just do that with these people?
You know what's funny?
What?
He pays very close attention to when they moved down to, where did they move?
Guyana.
No.
Guyana.
Yeah, Guyana. Theriault began rationing the food, and if anyone complained about it, he would punish them further by restricting their rations.
You get 2 crackers instead of 3.
Of course, that nagging ulcer problem prevented him from joining in the labor, and his role was much more important for their spiritual salvation.
Well, yeah.
Drilling into their heads that everyone in the outside world, most especially their families, were oppressors of the righteous and were doomed for all eternity for the acts they inflicted on poor, innocent souls.
Here's my thing. If you are this Messiah from God, why would he inflict you with stomach ulcers?
Yeah. Well, why did he kill his son?
Well, I mean, he's got to give you them to make sure that, you can't go wear yourself out in the fields. You got to be ready for, sermons and speeches and
your
to guide
body,
people.
Your body may be broken, but your brain and spirit are one and full.
You think
you can't break your spirit fucking cutting down wheat.
You'd think he'd have like the power of Dick Cheney where he's unkillable. You know, I don't know.
Yes.
Well, Dick Cheney has money.
Dick
A
Cheney,
lot of it.
Dick Cheney has the curse from Dark Souls.
He does.
He's undying. For some, this was all too much. Yolande Guinebert, who had joined up during the Adventist retreat where Roch had his vision, claimed her passport was expired and she had to go back to France. Leo Mark Fosher, who had joined the AHLC with his wife and child, and who had given Theriault all of their money, packed his meager possessions in a cart and headed back to town. Roch did nothing to stop them, but made it incredibly clear that they were evil in the eyes of God.
So he hasn't escalated too bad yet.
Not to, stopping them.
Yeah. I mean, obviously his assault on his wife is horrendous, but his followers, he hasn't punished
And he's starving them.
Yeah, I suppose.
Once the lodge was completed, Theriault rebranded himself as Moses, leader of the Exodus from the depraved modern world.
Does he have a snake stick?
I hope he does. I hope he does stick to snake. That's my favorite spell. With the collective welfare income of everyone in the group, they had a monthly budget of $1,400 Canadian.
Okay, what's that in real dollars?
I'm not even sure.
I mean,
It's not enough for all those people.
No.
Is the 1,400 in 70s money?
Yeah.
I mean, that might be livable.
Yeah, it might be, but that's a lot of
Livable.
people.
It's true.
Moses declared all marriages in the commune, other than the ones between himself and Giselle, void.
Ooh.
He began marrying the women to himself, including Gabrielle Nadeau, a 21-year-old girl completely debilitated by multiple sclerosis. Thankfully, he didn't try to have intercourse with her. He did, however, have sex with all of his other wives.
Okay, alright.
He abandoned the Adventist diet completely. He began eating meat and junk food with reckless abandon. He prostituted his main wife, Gabrielle, to local grocers for meat, milk, and cheese.
Jesus.
He also began drinking hard after 2 years of sobriety.
I mean, might as well. Jesus did it.
Yeah, water to wine. He would hold drunken, rambling sermons late into the night. And if anyone fell asleep, he would smash their heads with a 4-inch thick club.
Jesus, is this fucking Megan from goddamn Walking Dead?
Maurice Grenier, pregnant at the time, ate 2 more pancakes than Theriault had allocated her, so he punched her in the side and broke 2 ribs. One of his favorite punishments was forcing someone to strip naked and stand in the snow for a couple of hours. No one fought back as they thought it would be like trying to fight back against God.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
Jesus.
just a man. You can fight back against him.
Not if you're
if you're brainwashed.
Yeah,
I know.
if he basically I've always found it weird that these cult people somehow figure out a way to starve people and weaken them. Like they subconsciously know this is what you do to get them to follow you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to break them down.
Yeah, I've always thought that is weird. How are they learning this?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? It's
They're just born with this power, I guess.
Yeah, they know how to weaken and control people. It's just the weirdest thing to me. I don't know.
Maurice Grenier, pregnant and nursing her ribs, started planning her escape. Theriault instructed Jacques Grenier, Marie's husband, to cut off one of her toes with an axe. When Jacques said he wouldn't do it, Theriault began to taunt him.
What are you, a faggot? You don't have any balls. If you want to be a man, you have to learn how to teach your woman a lesson.
That's an outdated word, Mr. Roach, or whatever.
Mr.
Roch?
Roch.
Okay, yeah, it's...
Sounds like a shitty way to say Ross.
Yeah.
Could you see this guy in Friends?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Having a little coffee, talking to Lisa Kudrow.
Yeah, Lisa, I need you to be my wife and bear my children,
Oh,
please.
man, Jen Aniston.
Me at Central Perk?
See this big, fat, balding man with a big beard sitting on that couch in New York City?
I need more Cheetos.
Hey, do you know which toe it was?
Jacques began to cry, so Theriault grabbed the axe and threatened to cut off all of her toes himself. Reluctantly, Marie's husband took the axe and severed one of his wife's small toes. That was all it took to make Jacques Grenier Moses' main enforcer going forwards.
Jesus.
You have to have a little axe for toes, right?
Oh, either that or you got to be doing some bogus shit with it, like going real slow.
Or
Yeah.
have something to spread the toes apart, but why would you harm your spouse?
Yeah,
in any way.
Okay, obviously
Yeah, fucking leave.
That's common
I know.
knowledge here, but I'm saying
Fucking leave,
if you have
Jordan.
a fire axe, like say Nicholas or Jack Nicholson in The Shining,
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard to get one little
toe, yeah.
Like
Unless
you'd have
it's
to
just
have
a really
like
good like chopper.
it'd have to be like the tiniest little axe. I don't know.
If he was one of the fellas, he wasn't. If he was one of the guys that dug the well, he would be pretty good at swinging it.
Maybe it's a pickaxe. Maybe they didn't clarify.
Oh,
Pickaxe, you could maybe do it.
That's awful.
It is very awful. Yes.
What's wrong with you, Cody?
I'm just saying.
You sick fuck.
He's looking for logistics here.
My dad had to have his pinky toe removed, so.
Ugh.
But that was like surgically done.
Yeah, they didn't
obviously.
hold it on a stump and axe it off, right?
He does say he has a phantom pinky toe.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So.
Yeah.
February 17th came and went without the second coming of Christ.
No surprise.
According to Theriault, it was impossible to discern his exact dates from the messages of God, as time passes differently for him than us. This explanation was enough to keep the group together somehow. After all, the end of the world could come any day. If it was a couple days after the prophecy, hey man, God's a busy dude.
He is. Have you seen Evan Almightier?
Oh yeah.
Evan Almightier?
Is it Evan
Well,
Almighty?
there's Evan Almighty Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman says, "Fuck this! I'm not dealing with this horse shit."
Have you seen
Not
how
doing
many
it.
prayers he has to respond to in a day?
It's a prayer email.
Yeah, it's probably like how many emails goddamn Alex Jones gets in a day.
Oh.
Speaking of
it's
Alex
too
Jones,
much.
he just got arrested for a D-dub.
Oh.
He's a lightweight, apparently. I heard that on a podcast.
Hey man, he probably is because he forgets his kids' names after he has a bowl of chili for lunch.
A month later, 10 police officers came down to the Eternal Mountain on a helicopter and arrested Theriault for obstruction of justice. He was ordered by the court to undergo psych eval at the Quebec City Hospital.
How the hell did they get their horses on the helicopter?
The Mounties.
Get on, boys. We're flying our horses. We're gonna storm the fucking compound.
Eternal
here.
Mountain.
All right, come on, horsey. There's some hay on here. Oh well, if you say.
No problem.
Why is this thing going around my midsection? Lower him down with him on there.
During his absence, Giselle was able to keep the morale of the commune up. All the while, he was convincing the doctors that he had saved these kids from drug abuse and put them on the right track. The director of the hospital actually started calling him Moses.
God damn it.
And expressed his scorn for the unwashed public that reflexively assumed that just because Theriault had a different lifestyle, he was crazy.
Okay, confirmed he's very charismatic.
He got psychiatrists to think he was Moses.
Hey, technically, in a few weeks here, Ed Kemper, same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, everybody loved him.
We're
Everybody
talking,
loved Big
We're
Ed.
talking 2 weeks.
Yeah, I said 2 weeks, didn't
You
I?
said a few weeks.
A few is 2.
He
No.
was too.
A few is 3. A couple
Few
is
is
2.
No,
A few in Wisconsin terms is 3. In everywhere else, including Quebec,
2.
it's 2.
I'll see you in a few weeks.
Yeah.
That's 2 weeks. This only made his followers more convinced. He must be an emissary of God. If psychiatric experts couldn't find anything wrong with him, how on earth could they? In early November 1980, a man named Guy Veer joined the community. He was the first outsider to join since the closing of the Healthy Living Clinic.
Oh, the Healthy Living Clinic closes and someone named Guy joins. Is Veer short for Vietti?
He just won.
Did he show up
This
with
is his dad.
polarized Oakleys and frosted tips?
He pulled his fucking Corvette right into the commune.
It's a Camaro. Get it right, Cody.
Oh, it's a Camaro, right?
Don't disrespect our flavor savior.
That's a good point. After hearing about Theriault on TV, Veer decided to head to the hills and check it out. After passing Gabrielle's entrance exam, Veer was permitted to stay on the commune in a storage shed away from the other members. He would get a wood stove, a case of 24 bottles of homebrew, 2 hens, a rooster, and 1 meal a day.
And he took that rooster and 2 hens to Flavortown.
That's right. This is how it all got started.
I think this man created Bobby Flay.
Whoa.
Oh, shit. It all comes full circle, somehow.
Veer's job, in addition to the normal work of the cult, was to babysit the non-Theriault children. There was Samuel Grenier, age 2, Miriam Grenier, age 4, and Simon Ouellette, age 2. Veer was mentally unstable and had a history of violent depression, so he was unfit to look after the children of Theriault's seed.
But the other one's fucking. And it sounds like they're giving him this huge role. It's 3 kids.
He couldn't even babysit the chickens.
Yeah, but this cult has what, like, maybe 9 people?
I think we're up to about 13, 14.
Yeah,
sorry.
You know,
it's getting serious.
We're rolling.
It's burgeoning.
Mm-hmm. The official version of Samuel Grenier's death was given in court by Theriault, Guy Veer, and most of the commune members, and it goes as follows. 2-year-old Samuel was crying and keeping Veer awake. Veer lost his temper and started screaming at the toddler. When he wouldn't stop, he picked up the kid by his throat and punched him in the face 5 or 6 times. The next day, Theriault discovered what had happened and placed Samuel into his own personal care. Allegedly, baby Samuel's head was flopping around on his neck, and his penis had swelled up. Roch took a pair of scissors, and after sterilizing them in alcohol, lanced Samuel's penis to permit urine to flow out. The next morning, Samuel was found dead, and this is the accepted account. The court accepted account.
Jesus, that is brutal.
On the other side, according to the book Savage Messiah by Paul Kyla and Ross Laver, where I got most of this info, on the morning of March 24th, Samuel was found with some bruising on his face, but nothing else seemed to be wrong with him. However, Theriault decided it was time to circumcise him. He used 94% ethanol solution to sterilize the razor, and then poured some into Samuel's mouth for anesthetic. This may have been enough to kill him by alcohol poisoning alone.
Why isn't it 100%?
I'm not sure. Either way, after learning of her baby's death, Maurice Grenier just went back to work. At supper, Theriault suggested they burn the baby's remains because if they buried them, birds or bears would get to them. Maurice and Jacques agreed and burned the body, and life went right back on to normal. 6 months later, Theriault flew into a drunken rage at Veer over some infraction and decided he should be put on trial for killing the baby in March.
Yeah.
Theriault called a vote for castration, and of a jury of 10, only 3 voted against. The craziest part comes next. Theriault was actually able to convince Veer that it was a good idea. He claimed it would cure his headaches, as well as the excessive masturbation that was causing Veer's respiratory difficulties. Roch asked Veer to sign a letter of consent and said he wouldn't make Veer sign it unless he absolutely wanted to, and Veer signed it. Theriault had Veer lie on a table as Gabriel brought over the medical instruments, an elastic band, razor blades, a magnifying glass, tweezers, and that 94% ethanol solution.
What's the magnifying glass for? Is he throwing shade at this poor guy when he's trying to cut his balls off?
Jesus.
Apparently, the operation itself was painless, and the testicles were thrown out in a Kleenex.
Ugh.
Although Veer's scrotum bled for a week, Gabriel gave him a new saltwater compress every 20 minutes and made sure he got plenty of iron.
Okay, putting salt water, that has to hurt.
Yeah, that's gotta not be great.
Right?
That's gotta not be great.
Do you remember the Pain Olympics?
Yeah.
Okay, was that fake?
Yeah, some of it was, some of it was real.
Okay, I remember when that was popular. Someone talked about a guy who, like, allegedly took a razor blade, cut his nutsack open, pulled his balls out, and then smashed him with a hammer.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's real or not.
I think I saw that when I was a kid, but I don't remember looking closely enough.
Ugh.
I just remember that was the natural progression from Faces of Murder, or Faces of Death, right?
Okay, I've heard Faces of Death is completely fake.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they've confirmed it's just basically a horror movie at this point or whatever.
Theriault now felt Veer was a security risk and enjoyed torturing him, beating him, and playing games where he would instruct his followers to plunge a knife through Veer's heart and bleed him to death, only to call them off at the last second like God did to Abraham.
Gee.
On November 5th, Veer escaped to the village of St. Jogue, where he told the villagers that a baby had died after being kicked in the face by a horse. The police came in hard, arrested Theriault and the Greniers, found the baby's cremated remains, and relocated the 7 children in the compound to foster homes. After the coroners determined that the group was criminally responsible for the death of 2-year-old Samuel Grenier, the police made the following charges. Roch Theriault, Jacques Grenier, Marie Grenier, Gabriel Lavelle, and Guy Veer, all charged with criminal negligence causing bodily harm to Samuel. Roch and Gabriel were additionally charged with bodily harm with intent to mutilate Guy Vere for the castration. All of the accused pled not guilty. Jacques, Marie, Claude, Solange, and Guy were released on their own recognizance on the condition they not return to the commune. Theriault and Gabriel were denied bail as they were a danger to society. At the end of the 9-month trial, during which the commune members moved to the town of New Carlisle where the trial was held, Roch Theriault was given 2 years in prison with 3 probation to be served in Quebec City. The group split up between 4 apartments in Quebec City in order to be near their leader. The police razed their commune to the ground and bulldozed the ashes. I think this is the end. Good job, guys. I mean, it's all settled now.
Hell yeah, here we go.
Listen,
Just
that was
kidding.
nice. Oh.
It's just getting started.
Oh, goddamn.
I was gonna say, I know enough about this story. It gets a lot worse.
It gets a lot worse and doesn't get much better.
Ooh, you know what? You know what's funny? I was gonna tell you. You know, when you told me you were gonna do this, I remember I had bought that exact book long time ago. But I was kind of at the time. I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do child murders.
Yeah.
So I just put it on the bookshelf. And
You have the book?
I have the book.
Do you know that you can't fucking find that anywhere?
Really?
I had to Google. Unfortunately, I had to torrent it.
Nothing wrong with that. No,
Amazon, no e-readers had it, and Amazon had it for $104 used.
See,
that was it.
See, I got it used for like maybe $25 or something. This was like over a year ago.
Yeah.
And I was pulled it. I was like, maybe I should give this to Adam because whatever. And I opened the cover and it's autographed by the authors.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I bought it used
kidding.
and it's autographed by the authors.
Well, that's fucking amazing.
It's pretty sweet. So,
Yeah. Because that wasn't even like a widely published book at all.
No.
It was a small, like, third-party, shitty publisher.
You can see because it's literally shitty font says Savage Messiah, and then it's just got a creepy picture of him on the cover.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
But it's like 500 some pages, so it's a big ass book.
It's really good. It's
Yeah.
really good. It's really well done. It was
it?
written by 2 journalists. So, I mean,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sometimes you find really good ones.
True.
So so you've been reading it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's going to do it for Anthill Kids Part 1. By Part 2, I will watch the movie based on it. I can't remember. It came out in like the 80s or something.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's a movie based on, or is it a documentary?
Movie. It's a
Movie.
dramatic movie, yeah.
Really? I know this story is...
After
it's
doing
really
goddamn Junko last week and this one this week, it's just like, shit. That's a lot of heaviness.
bad. And then you're going to do Ed for probably 2 or 3 weeks,
Yeah.
so...
But Big Ed. He's Big Ed. That lovable old murderer.
It's funny because we'll probably talk about it when we get in there, but I read the one book that is like 250 pages from like a psychologist, I think, who talked with him.
Mm-hmm.
But it was written in, I think, the 70s, right after he got convicted. So this shit in the book's like right fresh out of the press from him, right?
Sure.
So I decided I better get another book just to like kind of
Like once the dust
balance
settles.
it. Yeah, so, but yeah, Ed, I'm going to do my best on Ed.
Yeah, fantastic. I
But,
mean, he's our mascot.
I know, he's an interesting... After reading that book, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man, this guy's fucked up.
He's fucked in the head.
It's weird to say that this cult leader might act... I don't know, is he more fucked up than Ed?
Yeah.
Okay,
He does a lot of whack-ass shit.
Yeah.
Later. You'll see it in Part 2.
Oh, yeah. I knew there was more than just one body.
Mm-hmm.
There's, do you know why they call them the Anthill Kids?
We'll find out in Part 2.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I'll just say it now.
Okay.
When they are building their next commune, he says it looks like a bunch of anthills. Yeah,
Okay.
they're all doing so good and working so hard that they're like a bunch of little ants.
I know I've heard that before, but I can never remember. I'm always like, you hear the Anthill Kids, and it sounds like a bunch of young kids who started to call, this is all adults.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Adam told me, it's like, what, it's just going to be a bunch of kids from the suburbs who go around TPing houses?
Not quite.
Yeah, it's a fucked up backwoods doomsday cult.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about this cult on last week's episode.
We
for
did.
Like the most fucked up things you
We
can
did.
hear. Yeah, this one's bad. So brace yourself for next week.
Ooh.
And brace yourself by sending us a lovely email at bumblebuttpodcast@gmail.com.
What's that, Adam?
bumblebuttpodcast@gmail.com. We did get an amazing email, and I read it and responded, and it's great. I love it. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah, it was so
Yes.
nice. It was so nice.
Also get in touch with us on Twitter at BumblebuttPod and Facebook and Instagram at BumblebuttPodcast. We also have a Patreon. Go there and go to the highest tier, and you can get a shirt.
So, I'm guessing you guys didn't see it yet, but I was like, I had Bowling for Satan, $15.
Right.
And then I put Bowling for Satan Lane Demon is the 25 and up. So 25 and up will get you one. This is the best value because you can either buy the shirt, say via PayPal or Venmo, or if you do the Patreon, you will also get the weekly or the monthly postcard. So
And
it's a
you'll
better
get-
value.
You'll get
And the
caught up with a
stickers.
sticker.
And the stickers
Yeah.
and all of that, the shout out in the show.
You
and
get
all of
everything.
That.
You
So,
get
yeah.
fucking everything if you're a $25
All of it.
member. But we appreciate every fucking level of
everybody,
membership.
everybody. So
Any bit is more than I thought we deserved at some point.
Yes.
So.
I figured the Patreon might be like I feel like PayPal, whatever. Maybe Patreon's the safest way if you want the shirt or whatever. So I figured that'd be a good tier on there. So
Yeah, it's great. That's great. That's really good. Yeah, get on that Patreon, do all that
hell
stuff.
yeah.
Now it's time for the most important part of the show, at least if you ask Cody, the iTunes reviews.
All right, we didn't get any new written ones, but
Sons of bitches.
We got a hell of an explosion of non-writtens.
we did. What was it? 3?
Yeah.
3 or whatever.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's good. Jordan, your threats are doing wonders apparently.
Yeah, well, listen, I just wish some people would write them.
Hey, you know what? Okay, I've heard this rumor that, so I'm using iTunes right now to look at them.
Right.
And apparently the iTunes and the Apple Podcast reviews are separate. Have you heard this before?
I haven't. How many
No.
does it say we have on there?
So it says we have 121 on iTunes.
That's what it says on Apple Podcasts on my phone.
I've heard this on different podcasts that you can, it keeps them separate because it's like a different platform. I don't know. I know
that's really dumb.
Here's the other thing. I know a lot of people we can see listen on Spotify, which you should. If you hit the follow button, that's like a review on iTunes.
Bop that follow button.
So hit the follow button. That's all
On
you gotta do.
I don't know anything. I don't know a single thing about Spotify.
Listen, all it's going to do is send you a notification like Bumblebutt Podcast released a new episode.
Well,
Apple
all it does.
Podcast does that too.
That's
Yeah.
what I do every morning. Now that I'm now officially with the times, I use my cell phone, hit
Oh my God,
Spotify,
yeah.
open it, look at all the new podcasts that have been released that particular day, and I listen to them all. Then we're good to go.
Now that
Yeah.
you don't have to hook your goddamn iPod
Yeah.
up to your computer and download all the latest apps and load your iPod up.
I had a reason because I had a S6 and the battery, if I didn't even touch it, it would go to about 20% by the time I got off of work.
Oh fuck yeah! Okay.
And now that I have a brand new phone, I can listen all day and I'll be fine.
it's
But,
at like 80%.
Yeah, so that's fine. But before it was a problem because my phone would die instantly if I did that. So, but
well, let's get the fuck out of here.
yeah,
huh?
let's do that.
All right, boys. That was great, and we'll do it again next week. I've been Adam. That's been Jordan. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you, Adam.
That's been Cody. Thank you, Cody.
Thank you, Adam.
All right, everybody. Have a nice weekend, unless it's Tuesday.
COVID-19, please don't cough on me.